Today's podcast is brought to you by the BetStamp app, which is helping thousands of people win at sports betting for free. The same way travelers use Google Flights or Expedia to find the best prices, bettors can now use BetStamp to do the same. When you place a bet, the odds given by a sportsbook will determine how much you could possibly win. Even when betting on the same outcome, different sportsbooks will offer varying payouts, and these differences can be huge. Thankfully, BetStamp allows you to easily line shop for the most profitable odds across all sportsbooks. You can click on any matchup and instantly see all the different odds for game lines, player props, and even futures bets. Line shopping is the simplest way to find an edge in sports betting long term. On average, BetStamp users win an extra $1,000 yearly just by line shopping. You can find the BetStamp app on the Apple iOS Store, Google Play Store, or through your browser at www.betstamp.app. To access all these benefits, sign up using promo code SICKBOYS and start your journey to successful sports betting today. If you forget to use the code upon sign up, you can always enter our code in your BetStamp account settings afterwards. Check it out. What's going on, everybody? This is the Sync Boys podcast.
Sync Boys.
Some huge NBA trades have taken place early, pretty much as soon as free agency opened up. And I'm very happy with where my team is.
The Warriors, that is.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about it. We got some MLB stuff we're going to glance over after we talk about the draft as well. We're going to go over the trades like we just said, and I'll grant Joe some NFL talk time.
And no NHL.
No NHL to talk about. Congrats to the Knights, but
dude,
Joe's like, already too much.
Yeah, you had to sneak that in. All right, let's get right into it. The first trade, we actually titled our last episode this, Bradley Beal to Phoenix. It's had some time to breathe, among the sports world, and I've done a little bit of my own research. And yet again, we see an example of a big three that is created in hopes for a championship. Phoenix brought in Durant last year at the deadline and, tried to make a run. They were the favorites right after that. And, I guess injuries got in the way. Chris Paul injury got in the way. The fact that they traded all their assets, including Bridges and Cam Johnson, so they had no bench. It didn't work out.
Joe's got some stats for us, potentially. What is to come, what guys are expecting touches-wise. But just to kick off the conversation, who's playing point guard for the Suns next year?
Dude, right now it's campaign.
But who's actually taking the ball up as the game starts? Devin Booker?
Probably.
Like, no problem? Okay. All right. He was getting plenty of assists in the playoffs, but he was also the only guy they had for certain points of the game. So,
dude, I guess one option for them would be for Booker to turn into this James Harden-esque point guard prototype
that actually consistently scores.
I mean, James Harden was averaging, 34 and 10 a couple of years?
Yeah. Okay.
That's
younger James, yeah.
So, but in general, how effective can Booker be if he's not looking to score all the time? I don't know. All right, so you want me to get into this?
Yeah.
All right, so I guess I'll start with this point. Phoenix, I looked at the box score for their Game 4 win against Denver. They won by 5 points. Durant and Booker combined for 46 field goal attempts, and everyone else on the roster had 49 combined. So I'll go into this now. My thing is you put Beal onto this roster, and then keep in mind that Ayton, in order for him to be effective, he needs 11 field goal attempts at least. Beal needs at least 18, 19 field goal attempts to get 23, 25 points. That's just the type of guy he is. He's not going to go out there and hit 6 threes. He's not going to go out there and draw 5-6 fouls and get to the line 12 times. So these guys need shot attempts. There's only so much time in the game, and there's only so many opportunities. There's guys being on the bench. So my thing is, how the hell are you going to turn three guys, Booker, Durant, and Booker, Durant, and Beal, three guys that are ball dominant, non-facilitator players, into as effective as they have been on other teams in other situations? There's no one running this offense with Chris Paul gone.
Beal has to come off the bench.
That's a delicious, delicious idea.
They have to split it up, dude. Obviously, see, I just said he has to come off the bench, and then I was about to say, obviously, he'll start. But they'll probably run like a staggered lineup where it's mostly two of them out there and one guy getting rest. They have to. With three guys on the floor like that, you won't be effective. One guy will just be quiet.
And I think
there's no way you're just like trading shots and everybody's hitting. There's no way.
Exactly.
And that's not how a team runs in the NBA. You can't just have three shooting guards, basically.
And my point, I did the math on if you have three guys taking at least 19 shots a game, the other guys on the team, the other 6, if you're playing a 9-man rotation, are only going to be afforded 5 shots each. And in that other category is DeAndre Ayton. So it's like, dude, and the other thing about DeAndre Ayton, his rookie year, he was drafted first overall. His rookie year, 16.3 points per game on 12 field goal attempts. 2023, so 4 or 5 years later, 18 points a game on 13. Every single season, he's been between 16.5 and 18 points per game on the exact same field goal attempts. What did they have his first year? I'm pretty sure Chris Paul wasn't there yet. I'm pretty sure it's just him and Booker.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens when you take a center? See, there's different types of centers. There's your Embiids and your Jokic's. I know I'm rambling here. Give me a second. Ayton could have grown with enough time and freedom and shot opportunities into a consistent 25, maybe even 28 and 12 type player.
And you wouldn't have had to even make this trade.
Exactly. But because they're force feeding into, especially the starting lineup, these stars, it's just the Suns are never going to get the full potential of DeAndre Ayton. Another team definitely can do that. Give him your, first or secondary primary, scorer shot attempts per game, which is over 20 for the most part. And you're going, look what happened with Jordan Poole when Steph and Clay were hurt. Even that guy in his second year could give you 27 points a game if you give him 20 shots. Anybody can do that. Nobody's out here shooting below 30%. Give a guy 20 shots, especially the type of shots he takes. He shoots 60% from the floor. He can step out to 18, 20 feet. He is being wasted on this roster. He's not going to get the opportunities. No one is.
Maybe,
it's a nightmare.
Maybe he will, only because he's the only guy of those 4 guys. Maybe Booker a little bit with the mid-range game. But Ayton's really the only guy that plays inside the paint. Does Beal drive? Durant's a jump shooter.
No, but they all go to the rim a decent amount. I'm not going to say they're
I think Ayton's still going to get a lot of paint touches. And they're going to need to use him a lot because they're going to need to facilitate the ball around the court. Where it's you're going to have to move it inside. You're not just going to perimeter pass and ball screen. He's still going to get his touches. He's still going to... he's not going to get as many, obviously.
Dude.
But I still think, the areas of the floor that you need to score, the inside being one of those, he's, going to still be the main inside guy.
But it's when he gets an isolation play in the post where he clearly has a mismatch. Let's say Jock Landale is covering him. I know they're on the same team last year, but I can't think of anybody else right
Davis Bertans.
Yeah, good example. Maxi Kleber. Perfect mismatch. That guy takes an isolation possession and misses, and you have Durant, Booker, and Beal on the floor.
You can't say
it's
that
like,
every possession.
But that's what's going to happen, especially early in the season, where it's going to be all the spotlight is going to be on Phoenix, and there's going to be an overreaction to absolutely every single thing that happens, which was one of my questions. What happens when Bradley Beal, getting probably only 15, 16 shot attempts a game, if they're lucky, depending on how their offense is going to be structured, because who's their coach, though? It's not Monty Williams.
Is it Vogel?
Oh, yeah, it is. What a lucky life this guy has had. Somehow gets the LeBron job.
He was with PG when they were
Yeah.
the Pacers went on that run.
And that run warranted him to win the Lakers job. Gets lucky with 2 healthy superstars in a lockout year, well, bubble year, and then he gets this job.
I mean,
So many other guys
on the surface, lucky, but you and me are outlining why it might be a really hard job, splitting up the guys times. But that's another reason why I think, like, dude, how often do you think all 4 guys are going to be on the floor, just percentage of the game wise?
Probably the same minutes that they play.
Like 45% of the game, all 4 guys are going to be on the floor?
No.
More?
Less. Way less.
Okay.
Way less.
Okay. So that's suggesting that Beal is getting, like, I want to hear what you think each guy's minutes averages are going to be and what you expect, if all is going well with that lineup, what these guys can score per game.
Well, it would the stat I think you're looking for is the per possession basis.
Like is
those
Beal,
starting 5.
If this is all working out, is Booker averaging 30-ish, Durant 27-ish, Beal like 23, 24-ish?
That's absolute best case scenario.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine that happening.
Exactly.
And now you have 3 guys that are going to be on Supermax deals underperforming their typical stats. The amount of casual fans and media personalities that are going to easily point at that and say things like, this isn't working, regardless of their record. I would say the only way that this doesn't get some type of backlash is if they start the season like 20-4 or something like that. And I don't see that happening for a second, dude.
And the fact that Ayton is a big, yeah, but I wouldn't call him one of the tougher, stronger bigs in the league. And would you say this is a bigs league now? I mean, all 3 MVP candidates were bigs.
Dude, I don't think that. I don't think it's fair.
I think the Nuggets just kind of had a bunch of market inefficiencies on their team. Players that are not common, kind of unicorns. Like
the Nuggets?
Yeah, they had a bigger squad in like a smaller league, I feel like, this year. Again, except for the Lakers, that team is massive.
Dude, their second biggest player was Aaron Gordon. Jeff Green.
So Jokic was just that much of a factor. How much?
Are you saying that it's a bigs league now because you need a center that's able to be your best player?
Exactly. Not
I
best
think that
player,
we
but
want to talk
very
about
good.
Unicorns. Dude, Embiid and Jokic are generational talents. I just think that it just happens chance or whatever that saying is. I don't think you can overlook the fact that the other 90% of the best players in the league are either pure point guards, scoring point guards, or wing players.
Would you say that Ayton is a dominant big, and do you think that his play could help them win a championship? Like,
I feel like whatever role he's going to have this year is not going to be good for him or his team. Dude, think about this. He averages 17 points on 12 shots. He doesn't take 3-pointers. So if he shoots 50%, that's 12 points right there. Which means that if he were to score 5 more points on average per game, he's shooting 8 for 12. That's pretty fucking good. That's his averages. And then most of the time that he scores more, he's only taking a couple more shots. You don't see a DeAndre Ayton 27 field goal attempt game.
Definitely not this upcoming year.
He's good. Good. Yikes.
You almost committed to great.
I almost did, yeah, but he hasn't. He's a number one overall pick for a reason. The potential is there. If I'm his agent, I'm getting him out of Phoenix. Go put him somewhere with Portland. Like somewhere where it's a younger team where he could be a veteran presence, being it's his 6th year, going into his 6th year next year. I don't know, dude. I don't see this working out whatsoever. And I think that the loss of Chris Paul, I guess the idea of Chris Paul, like that's what you would want for this team, is a floor general. But he was never healthy. So I guess that was why that story ended that way. You ready to move on?
Chris Paul.
Right into it?
So you seem to be high on Chris Paul. What happened?
At first I was like, I can't believe they added another guard, especially a 37-year-old 6-foot flat even point guard. But if you think about how much did we talk about the fact that other teams have figured out how to guard the Warriors, especially on the 3-point line, and the fact that they haven't had a consistent penetrator of the basketball for years outside of Curry. And Curry's the guy that you want receiving those passes to take those shots. So I think that he'll fit in absolutely perfectly as long as they could figure out the front court and the bigs, even if you're getting some mid-level exception veterans. Fuck it, dude. Now you have a floor general that isn't Curry and he can go play off the ball, which is what he's always been.
I'm just thinking about how their lineup is going to figure. And if you're starting Chris Paul, that means you have Clay at the 3, and then it's either Wiggins, Draymond, which that lineup is unacceptably small. And
what they ran last year. Poole was in the Chris Paul spot. DiVincenzo, Peyton. That was their lineup.
This past season?
Yes.
No, Looney was the 5 all year.
I forgot Looney existed.
Exactly.
No, but he
Their
was
lineup. Yes, he was, dude. At the end of the very end of the season, he was hurt and he wasn't starting. So I was gonna say, if you're starting Chris Paul and you don't have a center, then you're going Wiggins, Draymond. But if you have a center, either Wiggins or Draymond are coming off the bench, or Clay. So I think Chris Paul is a backup point guard this year, and they can facilitate offense when Curry's off the court.
Dude, you're not paying your backup point guard $30 million.
It's happenstance. He's not worth that money anymore, but you had to dump salary like Jordan Poole, and he was the next best viable option. I can't believe Chris Paul is on the Warriors. I can't believe I kind of have to root for this guy. I saw a picture today with him in a Warriors uniform. Didn't feel right. Everything about him I dislike. But if he can bring some offense, Joe brings up a good point. Finally, somebody else that can handle the ball.
Well, it's because what's the fundamental of basketball is pressuring the paint so that the help defense comes and somebody on the wings is open. Dude, when you have guys, I don't care how old or how hurt these guys have been in the past, shooting is not something that you forget how to do. When you have Steph, Clay, I mean, Moody's a shooter.
I feel like this is going to open up a lot of Chris Paul threes, though.
Maybe.
We have to worry about these other guys on the perimeter. Like, he's not a 3-point shooter. Let's just let him shoot kind of thing.
Yeah, but when you don't guard a passer like that, like Jokic wasn't as big of a threat from 3, But when you just don't guard him, he will always be able to make the right play. There's no one in your face. You could make any pass, you could make any shot, you could drive into the lane. I think that it's going to open up a lot of mid-range opportunities for Chris Paul, which is where he's made his living his entire career. And once you open up mid-range opportunities for Chris Paul, now you have to adjust as a defense. Because once he makes 3 of those in the first quarter, you're like, oh, God, now we have to keep this guy. We have to bring help. It totally changes the Warriors' offense, which is something they haven't done in years.
The other side of the trade. He's gone.
I can't believe. And, dude, you know what the best part was? The picture that everybody used of him in the trade was he hasn't gotten a haircut in months. He looked scruffy and beat up. He just looked like shit. Jordan Poole, that is. So it was like, dude, yeah. And it's a win-win because he can go be a selfish, self-centered asshole in Washington, go rack up 25 shots a game, earn his $35 million a year, whatever it is, and everybody's happy, dude.
Well, Tyus Jones is going to start, no?
They're both going to start. Their roster's depleted.
It's going to be... They still have Kuzma. No,
he opted out.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole team is gone. That's going to be rough for Tyus Jones. Sorry, buddy. Was rooting for you. You deserve this opportunity, and now you have a selfish prick like JP3 on your team. But good for Jordan Poole. He's going to average over 20 shots attempted per game. He's going to have a great time in Washington, and they're never going to win anything. I still feel like the Warriors use their best blue chip trade piece on Chris Paul. And they could have used it in a bigger trade to get a big. I think, and a lot of other people think.
Where are these bigs?
Go get one. Go trade for one. Miles Turner.
I don't think Miles Turner solves nearly as many problems. He doesn't even fucking rebound.
He blocks shots. He blocks shots.
Parlays.
He blocks shots, and he. Dude, they also need that offensive presence down low. They're just an outside shooting team at this point.
Well, dude, I was just thinking about when we were talking about it during the playoffs. I was thinking, wow, their role guy needs to be able to be offensively versatile and be able to score. But that was only one side of it. I didn't realize that there was a possibility and an ability for them to be able to get somebody that can get into there and make those plays without being a big. Chris Paul. Chris Paul can get into the paint and create for other people all the time. That also takes ball handling responsibility away from Clay. How much do we see Clay have the ball in his hand, end of the shot clock, trying to figure something out? That's never been his game.
With their best players being as small as they are, they need size on their side.
Dude, they've win the championship.
They've been undersized for too long. They need a big. Dude, I was just thinking, out of the blue, not out of the blue because it's related, but the James Wiseman thing. I'm never going to get over this.
I know. It sucks for you.
I still think it's my bad on the Warriors because if your offense, like say they do go out and get like a big, like an NBA established big, a guy that's going to score over 15 points a game, get you like 8-9 boards, a good big that's been in the league for a while. You bring him over, you plug him into the offense. How hard is that offense going to be to learn? Was it a James Wiseman problem, or is their offense too complicated?
Probably a mixture of both, dude. Why do you think they're going after savvy veterans? Keeping the guys that they have. Anybody can offload stars that have been around for a while for picks and try to rebuild. It's not like, why do you think the Lakers... LeBron needs veterans. Like Austin Reeves thrived in that system as a young guy because he's super smart basketball-wise. Super smart. And that's what people are talking about. You can't just like throw somebody who... Dude, if you're not in the right spot at the perfect time, all the time, your whole offense is not going to be in sync. Dude, let it go. Let it go.
Dude,
let it
I will
go.
never stop believing that the Warriors will never go that far again without a big.
Dude, they're going to get bigs. Don't worry about that.
They traded their best trade piece.
That doesn't mean that that's the only trade piece they have, and
What
they
else
don't
are they
have
gonna
to trade.
What else are they going to trade?
They
What do you
freed
mean?
up cap space with the Poole Chris
So
Paul
they're
trade.
not bringing back Draymond?
I don't know.
Exactly.
He wants a longer deal, not more money. He wants his contract to be aligned with Steph and Clay's, which is 3 years from now. What's wrong with that? He was on pace to make $40 million this year. 40.
That's too much.
I know, but he might get a lesser contract to stay with the Warriors, especially because they got Chris Paul now. Buzzing. Espes. I'm looking up the Warriors title odds.
All right. To the third and final trade of the offseason so far, we have the Boston Celtics, the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Washington Wizards. 3-team trade. Kristaps is a Celtic. Marcus Smart is a Grizzly. And Tyus Jones is a Wizard. You're a wizard, Harry. And picks went other places. I'm not sure. I think the Grizzlies might have gotten 2 first-rounders from the Celtics.
The Celtics got 2 first-rounders.
And Kristaps?
Yeah. And the Wizards got 3 second-rounders. And Tyus Jones.
All right, we'll talk
for Kristaps.
We'll talk about the Celtics. We'll talk about the Grizzlies. Let's get the Wizards out of the way.
We kind of just talked about them.
This is the most empty. Just pour out the jug of olives.
What does that mean?
It means the jar was full of olives, and those olives
Are olives good or bad?
Kristaps, Porzingis,
Kyle Kuzma.
Bradley Beal, Kyle Kuzma. You know, the 3 guys that shouldered about 80% of their scoring last year.
And they were terrible.
And they're not on the roster anymore after these trades. And Jordan Poole. Are the Wizards the new Sacramento? Where your career goes to die? Jordan Poole, welcome to the club. Tyus Jones will probably end up on a new team by February.
Yeah, I really hope so.
Maybe the Warriors?
3 point guards that are very small. Yeah.
Maybe the Celtics.
All right, on to the Grizzlies. Marcus Smart?
I mean, if there was a candidate for a better version of Dylan Brooks as a replacement, they did it.
Yeah, they got him.
Yeah, they got him.
He could play 3 for them.
But they pretty much lost Dylan Brooks and Tyus Jones from last year's roster for Marcus Smart. I mean, they also lost 2 first.
I mean, Tyus Jones is going to be I think a pretty serious loss if you're talking about just having a backup point guard. Like, he's just like as good as you can get.
Yeah, but is Marcus Smart the backup point guard now?
I still think, like, I've heard on shows that the Grizzlies feel like they should start him or they picture him as starting. So I think just defensively, like, he can guard most positions. Like, just have him as a 3.
Where the fuck did that come from, pal?
And then you have Ja and Bane as the 1 and 2.
One thing Bill Simmons said was that these guys that are defensive studs for years and years, especially that are on the smaller side, they're kind of like NFL running backs, where they just are they're just beat up more than other guys throughout their careers. And Marcus Smart is in like his 9th or 10th year, and you know, you can't just throw Marcus Smart into the 3 spot to defend 6'8", tall, lengthy, stronger, faster wings the entire season. I would just keep him as a guard. I would play him at the backup point guard. And just surround Ja with shooters. Start Luke Kennard. I mean, right now, start Luke Kennard.
Yeah, he was awesome in the playoffs.
And then you get Adams, Jaren Jackson, Who else was hurt last year? Clark,
Mm-hmm.
Bane. Oh, dude, they're fine.
Yeah.
They're buzzing. They're buzzing.
I mean, you got Luke Kennard at the 2, maybe Bane at the 3.
Why would they start Smart if they have Ja and
Yeah.
Bane? Well, Marcus Smart might start at the beginning of the season.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying when everyone's healthy and back.
I wouldn't start Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
Absolutely
So
not.
yeah. Okay. Well, also Luke Kennard is a 6-man, but yeah, I guess you could start him because he's playing really well.
Dude, he shot so well for the Grizzlies last year. I think that they're just a buzz factory.
They definitely need shooters, and if those two guys can light it up next year, they're going to be right back where they were. Get Ja back in what, January, and they're buzzing.
Yeah.
And the Celtics bringing in Kristaps. How did they get better? They got taller.
What do you think?
They've been that team that we thought was big, but they're kind of small.
Yeah, I didn't know that Al Horford and Rob Will were both below 6'10".
And now they have a 7-3 score.
And yeah, he's really good at shooting. Really, really good at shooting.
Fits right into their offense. But are they still just going to be the ISO gods?
We'll see, dude. An offseason can change a team for pretty significantly. Who do you think is the favorite to win next year?
Celtics.
Who do you think second?
Nuggets.
Who do you think's third?
The Lakers.
No. Early exit this year.
Bucks.
Who do you think's fourth?
Lakers.
No.
Warriors?
Why the Lakers, dude? What did we talk about on this podcast?
Dude, they're going to be fine. They're going to get a point guard.
Dude, who did we talk about on this podcast for like 20 minutes?
The Wizards?
You're the worst.
The Warriors.
The Suns, dude,
Are the 4 seed?
are the 4. The Warriors are 5. The Lakers are 6. Guess who's 7? Above the Sixers, Grizzlies, Clippers, and Cavs.
The Heat.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Why is that unbelievable, though? The assumption is they go out and get somebody. They were in the Beal talks. That's a guy. That would have fit really
that
well.
would have fit with them, but not
Not the Suns.
But then who's their point guard? But then they have 3 shooting guards if Beal goes there. They have Butler.
Butler's not a shooting guard. Get out of here. Get out of here.
What else would he be,
He's a
dude? He's
3.
only 6'5".
He's a 3. Dude,
Get out of here.
threes can
Get outta
be
here.
threes are like 6'5" to like 6'8", 6'9". 6'9" on a stud. All right. Kristaps. Does he make them better?
100%, dude. A proven 20-point scorer.
But is it a touches problem? Just like
No.
we just talked about with the Suns.
Completely
yeah,
different.
I guess they have an extra guy. But
They have 2 extra guys.
the Suns?
Well,
Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum versus the 3 guys in the Phoenix. And then the 2 bigs on each team.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 1 extra guy.
Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is that you can have a guy easily, no problem, with this Porzingis addition. Like a guy that isn't like Brogdon can still get 15 shots in a game on any given night. Not all the time, not consistently. What I'm saying with the Suns is that for those guys to consistently get 25 points a game, they're probably going to need to take 20 shots each game, every night. Every night. It's not how this works. That's a lot of isolation. That's a lot of forced plays. That's a lot of bad shots. It's a lot of not in rhythm. It's a lot of double teams.
Is Kristaps a 4 or a 5?
I mean, probably naturally a 4. Like Wembanyama, he's a small forward.
But we can agree that 7'3", you're probably covering the biggest guy on the team.
Yeah, I mean, and he can handle it. And if not, Horford is there. It's fine. Rob Will, that's fine.
Is
They're
Horford
good.
there?
I believe so. I believe he's still under contract. Rob Will, I'm not sure about.
So rank Porzingis overall as a center in the league?
Probably like 5.
5.
Dude, you were talking about before, like, is this a center's league? Remember when we did All NBA?
There was 3 guys, no question. But then after that, I
It
guess
was rough. It was like, it was
Clint
Embiid,
Capella.
Jokic. Yeah, and then it's like Bam, who's a
Vucevic.
4, Vooch. Vooch, dude, he seems like such a beta. I can't believe we're talking about Vucevic. All right, let's get out of here. Let's leave.
All right, NBA draft. Victor goes first.
No surprise there. The Hornets fumble the bag and they draft the Alabama shooter. No pun intended.
Bang, bang.
Brandon Miller goes second overall to the Hornets. There's a little janky odds switching for some sports books on
I'm
who was
not a
getting
fan of that word.
who's getting this picked second overall. But Scoot goes to the Blazers. Joe, what's the deal with the Blazers, bro?
I don't think that they're going to trade Dame unless they get an absolute haul in return. You know what we saw 2 years ago in the offseason was the Rudy Gobert trade, which was complete robbery. And now we've already seen Bradley Beal, Chris Paul, and Kristaps all get traded this year. And
For not a lot.
it can be argued that the team actually didn't give up much in either trade.
I mean, I didn't examine the Bradley Beal trade, but was it a lot of picks?
I don't think it was nearly as much as
Rudy
I think it
Gobert?
was like 2 first rounds.
How many NBAers?
Where did he go? Oh, back to the Wizards. I don't know who they traded. I don't know, dude. That's weird.
Oh, was it Shamit and
Shamit, that's the only guy. I'm fired up, dude. I don't know why.
Golden State 19th overall draft Brandon Podziemski from Santa Clara University. He is a 6'5" guard, shoots lefty. His dad said that you're getting a dog in this kid. Oh.
Yeah, I only saw a couple highlights of him, and I'm probably gonna do a deeper dive that I'll explore on the podcast at another date. But it looks like this guy is very patient when he's handling the ball, which is something that dude, we get rid of Poole, we trade him for a fucking slow, patient, take your time, read the defense, good decisions, high assist to turnover ratio type of guy, and we draft the same prototype. But this guy shot 45% from 3 in college. Dang! Dang! Let's fucking go.
How much does he play next year, if at all?
Probably like 15 minutes a game.
15 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Okay, that's healthy.
Yeah.
That's way more than Kuminga got
Well,
this
I think
year.
that they'll make one more trade. I don't know what it'll be for. Dude, if I was the Warriors, I would go after Brook Lopez with everything that I had. Mike Dunleavy, dude. Mike Dunleavy's the GM. He has a good relationship with the Bucks organization. Maybe he can do a little, hey, how you doing?
Is it the same Mike Dunleavy? Because they mentioned Junior in the.
I think he has a dad.
I would hope so.
Yeah, same.
Shout out Father's Day a couple
Yeah.
days ago.
Warriors GM. I just Googled it on the Google machine. Who's the GM of the Warriors? Mike Dunleavy Jr. Played 15 years in the NBA, beginning his career with the Warriors.
Does it say he played for the Bucks and he was a 3-point shooter?
I'll look it up.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you said 15 minutes a
dude,
game.
This is the fucking guy.
I'm surprised you said 15 minutes a game.
Well, I
Like we've seen Moody and Kuminga, like they probably averaged like 7 minutes a game this year.
Yeah, but I don't think that they'll be there. Maybe Moody, because Moody seemed like he bought into the whole.
What do you mean be
It's
there?
not about me.
You think they're moving Kuminga?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know.
I feel like when we were playing Xbox the other day, you said you can't wait for Kuminga next year. and
Yeah,
how he
dude.
needs to play at least 20 minutes a game.
Dude, the Warriors are good at drafting, especially Bob Myers. Sad to see him go, but he was an absolute stallion. And he was good at drafting. It's just like not everything always works out. It's okay. He drafted Poole, he drafted Kuminga, he drafted Wiseman, he drafted Moody. I don't know about the other guys, but obviously he drafted the Curry and the Clay and the Draymond. But dude, those guys are gonna have good careers elsewhere. It's okay. It doesn't have to always work out for your team. Like we got the best part of Odell.
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
Nobody even got like much of Odell except for the Rams for half a season. Yeah, wow. I can't. What a good call.
Yeah, go Giants. Who's that?
I hate that he's
Rob
number
Reese?
3 now, too.
Rob Reese.
Jerry Reese. Dude, he was the GM for a long time.
Yeah, he drove this franchise into the ground.
Yeah, couldn't draft an O lineman for his life.
That's all we needed, too. Just one or two. Fine. Could have
All right,
seen
fine.
the
All right,
this
so
is disgusting.
is there anything else we wanted to mention about the NBA draft?
I guess that in the direction that the Hornets franchise is going, it seemed like Scoot was the right answer. His athleticism is absolutely unbelievable, and he's much more mature at the time than Brandon. Like Brandon Miller in pre-draft interviews was talking shit about how old and bad at basketball Michael Jordan is. And then he gets drafted by them at the last second. What a nightmare of a franchise. Like
since 2000
it's like
since 2004 or 2003 or whatever, I think they were 17 of 18 years drafting in the lottery.
yeah. It's also like those memes of the guy that goes into an interview and he's like, "You're a piece of shit." And they're like, "You're hired." And then he's like, "Why the fuck would you do that? You're an idiot." And they're like, "You're promoted." And he's like, "You're fired. Why did you give me this job?" That's Brandon Miller and Michael Jordan. All right, anyway, moving on to baseball. Jack, take the wheel.
The Reds.
Yeah.
Ellie De La Cruz.
Yeah.
First cycle hit by a Reds player since 1989.
What?
Yep.
He hit the cycle?
He did it in his first 15 games in the MLB. This guy is an electric factory.
Yeah.
That was an absolute hell of a watch. Playing the Atlanta Braves, one of the best teams in the league, going head to head. I told Joe, I was like, we ride with the Reds. I'll ride with them the whole series. They might drop the next two. I don't care. We're on the Reds.
You just take the Reds every day?
Yeah. Ellie De La Cruz has been playing unbelievable. As I just mentioned, he hit for the cycle. Joey Votto had 2 ding-dong Johnsons. The Reds have been absolutely flying. They are on, I believe, an 11-game heater?
Yeah.
They just ended the Braves heater. The Pirates just ended the Marlins heater. Luis Ariz still batting over 400. Holy moly. This guy can hit. And I was watching some of the highlights of the game. I think he went 3 for 3 to start. They lost 3-1. And the guy just slaps the ball for little dinks and dunks, little gappers. He's unbelievable. And they have Jorge Soler. That team is freaking buzzing. Alcantara hasn't been amazing this year, but the Marlins are leading the NL East. Baseball's been really fun to watch. Last night was a little bit of a snoozer. The Astros have been playing a little crappy. The Dodgers haven't been playing great, but they're getting wins as per usual. And the Dodgers go up early. Mookie leads off with another leadoff homer. The Dodgers go up 2-0 early. The Astros go back to back in like the third or the fourth, and it's a tie game the rest of the way. And then there was a bases loaded fly out tag runner in like the seventh, and then the game was over 3-2. I am still gonna keep riding with the Astros.
Yuck.
I'm gonna keep riding with the Reds, the
Reds are down.
Braves, the Rays. Couple teams that are just really, really good at baseball.
Reds are down 6-4 to the Braves in the fourth inning.
We're fine. We are absolutely fine.
Mariners Orioles tied at 2. Buzzing. Yankees up 1-0 on the Rags. Mets up 2-1. Scherzer's still in the game in the fifth inning. It's truly a miracle.
Wait, what?
Mets up 2-1.
In how many?
It's the fifth inning. Rays down 7-4 to the Royals. Royals have scored 7 runs in the past 2 innings. All right.
I want to talk about the Yankees a little bit.
All right.
They don't seem like they have the pitching.
They suck.
So many of their guys are all or nothing home run hitters. IKF cannot run the bases.
Why do
You
you
see
say that?
yesterday? He stole a base successfully, got up and started running back to the dugout, and they tagged him out.
An empty brain.
He
Can't believe it.
there was another bloop in hit that the Rangers got, where it just hit the ground in front of him, and then it got past him, and the run scores, and it's like he is a struggle factory.
Who's McKinney?
He's all right. He's a center fielder, I think. Probably bats later in the lineup.
It says left field, right field. Why is Connor Flefa in the outfield? Oh, so Volpe can play short. That's fucking sick.
That's another situation, is the Volpe Peraza situation, where Yankees fans are seeing Glaber start the season hot, and he's definitely flamed out, but they had an opportunity to maybe move on from him and bring up Peraza, get something back for a scorching hot Glaber, and you could have Peraza play short and Volpe play second, and just move ahead with these guys.
You would replace Volpe at shortstop?
Apparently he's got a bad arm, and Peraza is like one of the best like shortstop defensive prospects.
All right, let's make it happen.
But Glaber is flamed out. I don't know if they're calling up Peraza, and Volpe is still struggling. Garrett Cole is still their horse. They really don't have anybody else.
No one else.
What's up with Nestor? Did he get hurt?
He's a reliever now.
No way.
Yeah.
He was a stud last year.
Or maybe he was in a rehab stint as a reliever in the beginning of the season. I don't know what's going on with him. I can look it up.
Donaldson is a mess. Rizzo's been playing his worst season of his career. Giancarlo is getting booed out of Yankee Stadium. The Yankees are a mess right now, and they're probably still going to make the playoffs, which really pisses me off.
Nestor's 5-2 as a starter this year with a 5.16. I feel like I haven't seen him actually pitch.
Neither have I. I haven't seen Cortez going for the Yankees the night before.
He pitched, the last time he pitched was May 30th.
Okay. So they desperately need him back. They need Judge back, dude.
Dude, I don't know if they desperately need him back. He's given up at least 2 runs in every single appearance this year, except for his first one. And most of the time he gives up more than 4.
All right, well, undoubtedly, they need Judge back.
Yeah.
And
You can't disagree with that one.
Judge is the absolute motor of the car that the Yankees are. And
they're not a truck.
he being out, and I don't think there's any timetable. I think it's probably going to end up being after the All-Star game. But the Yankees seem like they're a little bit screwed here. And they might still make the playoffs, but if I'm a Yankees fan, I'm not holding out for a World Series this year.
Yeah.
Especially with the other teams in their division really doing well. The Orioles have been playing awesome. The Rays, obviously, one of the best teams in the league. Um,
Dude, is it easier or harder to have a good ERA as a starter or a reliever?
reliever,
It's harder
way harder.
to have a good ERA.
Yeah, because if you give up like one run, that your ERA explodes because you're probably only pitching 1 or 2 innings. Most guys, starters go like 4 or 5. So if they give up the same amount of runs over the same time, I mean, over those 2 times, relievers ERA is going to be way higher.
All right, well, I'm looking at the ERAs of the Yankees pitchers, all of their pitchers, including the relievers. They have 5 starters in the bottom 6 ERA wise. All of their starters except for Cole have over a 4.3 ERA. Cole is 2.64. He's 8-1. He's 8-1, and the other starters 2-6, 4-5. Cortez is 5-2. Brito is 4-3.
I'm going to be the last guy to say that I like Garrett Cole and I appreciate him and like he's a great ball player, but he, dude, he went through the sticky stuff. He's been like massively chirped at Yankee Stadium. Everybody's been against him at times, and he's
Who?
still
Jermon?
no Cole.
The sticky stuff. I thought Jermon had the suspension.
No, not this year.
Oh.
At the beginning of the sticky stuff, it was horrible for Garrett Cole. But he's persevered through it all, and he's still pitching really good, dude.
Yeah.
So props to him. Um, I got no more baseball. I mean, Diamondbacks have slowed down. They haven't been hitting the win column every night like it has been. And yeah, we're just gonna get right back into baseball and keep going through it on the podcast. But I think it's time to talk about some NFL. What do you say?
We're going to do this quick, but on purpose, because we want to give our initial division winners as of today.
Way too early division winners.
So let me go to the NFL. Here we go. Divisions. So in the AFC East, who do you think is favored?
Bills.
Yeah. Bills are third favorite to win the Super Bowl. I don't get it, dude. I don't get it at all. I understand that they have a pretty high-powered offense. They drafted Dalton Kincaid. They should have a absolutely unreal tight end pairing. And they got rid of Singletary and replaced him with Montgomery.
Did they?
There's definitely a new running back. Or maybe it's James Cook. That's just like the starter now, which I don't think is a good thing. They don't know how to run the ball, though. And then it's the Jets and the Dolphins, and then the Pats are plus 750. Dude, I think the Dolphins are going to win the division.
I have no belief that Tua can stay healthy.
I think that once the first concussion happened, the other two were inevitable and impossible to prevent without him being on the bench.
I think the Bills inevitably get handed the division because of potential injuries and or just ineptitudes. The Jets
Yeah, we don't believe in the Jets.
at all.
Us on the Sink Boys do not believe in the Jets. I'm on the Dolphins, dude. I just think that, dude, they were literally undefeated with Tua when he was healthy.
Yeah.
And their defense got much better this
and
year.
they were like a lock for like 35 points every game. Okay, I like your Jets pick. I think the Bills still I think Josh Allen definitely bounces back.
Why? Brian Dale's his daddy isn't there.
I know what you mean. No, NFL careers are long, especially at quarterback, and I think Josh Allen's going to rebound, learn a lot from what how he screwed up last year, and yeah, I mean he's got to be the most focused he's ever been to go go win a division championship and go get back to the AFC chip.
All right, AFC North. Who do you think's favored?
Bengals.
They are favored. Who do you think's going to win? You think the Ravens have enough in the tank? You think Deshaun Watson is going to be good enough to actually keep them relevant this year? Do you think Kenny Pickett has a huge second year?
That's going to be such a fun division to watch. Holy moly. I really hope the Browns get a lot better. That just for competition purposes, just for competitiveness generally, you want to see the best football possible. It feels like another Bengals Ravens make the playoffs, Steelers fringe, Browns fringe. I'm gonna stay with the Bengals.
I'm going to stay with the Bengals. I think this is the Bengals' year. I mean, their defense got a little bit worse. I think they lost some pieces, especially in their secondary. But I really like the Bengals.
I think the Ravens and Lamar maybe avoid injury this year, but they still don't have like enough. Like they go like maybe 11-6.
All right, Jags, Titans, Colts, Texans. Who do you think's favorite?
I know what you're gonna say.
Who do you think?
I'm going with the Jags. Jags for both.
Jags are one of the only minus money to win their division in the whole NFL. Jags are favored minus 160. Titans are second. Colts third. Texans fourth, obviously. Anthony Richardson's going to win Rookie of the Year.
Joe's going.
I really I like Alec Pierce. I feel like with an actual quarterback that's not going to get sacked
He's not
literally 7 times a game this year, I think that and Anthony Richardson's very good at the down the field passes. So
Yeah, we'll see.
and dude, we're gonna be fine.
Joe's a Colts fan now.
No. But I do have a lot of belief in Trevor Lawrence and what they got going over there. I think the Jags win the division, but the Colts.
Thank God. I really thought you were going to pick Anthony Richardson and the Colts.
All right, next Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders.
Chiefs.
Yeah, I don't think anything can possibly go wrong enough for the Chiefs for them to not win this division.
All 4 sports the past like 4 or 5 years since Pat Mahomes, basically. I feel like playoff success and regular season success, the Chiefs have been the best by far.
Yeah.
Like you could talk about the Astros, you could talk about maybe the Lightning, but
yeah, he's the most dominant player.
Like the Patrick Mahomes train is this guy wins regular season games. They only lost 2 games last year? 2 games out of 20?
No, they did not go 15-2 last year.
14-3?
I believe so.
Okay. 3 games out of 20. That's a hell of a squad they got going over there.
All right, I'm on the Chiefs as well. I think the Chargers should have fired their coach, and they didn't really do much except for draft Quentin Johnson, my boy.
What's Brandon Staley's thing that we hate?
Coaching.
No, but is it was it the timeouts or the play calls or?
They don't know how to run the ball.
Yeah.
And their defense was a total nightmare last year. Remember Joey Bosa slamming his helmet on the ground? Brandon Staley picking it up, handing it back to him, and he slammed it again. A nightmare. All right, NFC
Directly
East.
after the game, no, we love Brandon Staley.
Yeah, you're a liar. All right, NFC East. Who do you think's favored?
The Philly Eagles.
Barely. The Cowboys get a lot of love from
They
sports
always
books,
do
dude.
this.
Dak led the league in interceptions last year.
Played by far the least games for a starter.
And he is not good enough.
I think he has a bounce back year. I think the Cowboys go back to being really good with this new roster, and Zeke's not there anymore, and they got new receivers. I think they're going to be really good again. Their defense got better too.
They have Allen Robinson now.
They might. I think they're going to be good again. I think the Eagles are going to be awesome again. I think the division shapes up exactly how it did, but the Giants still.
Dude, this is a random side note, but The Cowboys were one of the teams that was like taking Odell out on dates pretty much and
Yeah.
trying to like coax him into being on their team last year before they were like the closing date of them being able to sign him. I can't believe he ended up with the Ravens, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, he's probably going to be the feature receiver in that offense. That's why he went there. With the Cowboys, it would have been CeeDee Lamb. With the Eagles, he would have been the third guy. Like any of the other teams, the Chiefs, like I don't know. But I like the Eagles. I don't know why the Eagles are plus 800 to win the Super Bowl this year.
It's funny you brought up Odell because now I'm thinking about that. Like, if he went to the Chiefs, like he wouldn't have been one, but he would have been two. If he went to the Eagles, he would have been
Well,
two.
Juju's not there anymore.
Dude, Odell is capability without injury. Obviously, injury is literally everything, but if he's not injured, he's a top 10 receiver.
Yeah.
Yes,
He would be one on the Chiefs. The one right now is
Kelsey.
Kadarius. No, that doesn't count.
Dude, we're talking about targets.
I understand that part of it, but in terms of on the depth chart wide receiver, he would be number one.
I include tight ends. The targets is way too important with that. But what were we just talking about with the divisions?
The Eagles and the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Eagles are gonna probably take it.
The Giants have one of the hardest schedules in the league. If they had a similar schedule to last year, I probably would have said that they actually have a legitimate chance because I think if you were to take Josh Allen and Daniel Jones and compare their physical abilities, the stats that we've seen come out about Daniel Jones and his accuracy and all that stuff, like I would say that the one thing that needs to improve with the Giants is their O-line in terms of pass blocking, and then Daniel Jones should be able to, with the improved receivers and targets, should be able to have like the predicted season that I had for him last year, which was 35 touchdowns and like 8 picks. But
I think when you're a dual threat quarterback, you're never gonna get those numbers.
dude, I think that they were moving into him. Like in the beginning of the season, it was him getting 18 or 19 or like 22 pass attempts at the end of the season. Like the playoff games against the Vikings, dude, he had like 35 pass attempts and 100 yards rushing in that game. They were moving towards passing it more. I think that that's what they're doing with him this year. Is he's going to be passing a lot more. That's why they
I would watch that Vikings whole game through again.
Yeah, I'm down to do that.
No, but the Eagles game was obviously inflated because we were down the whole game, so we were passing. But if you're talking about like playoff average attempts, but yeah, I want to say that the Giants can. Yeah, we have honestly we have no idea what the Giants are going to be because of the tough schedule. Yes, we improved on the roster greatly, but tougher schedule, we might end up being the exact same team in the exact same spot, which honestly I'd be okay with because the following year we'd probably improve, hopefully catching these other teams in our division in a bad year where maybe they lose a guy in contracts or something.
One thing we didn't mention about the Cowboys is that they obviously have Trayvon Diggs on one side. They also have Stephon Gilmore now. He's got a cornerback on the other side. And they brought back their linebackers. So, dude, their defense is going to be unbelievable. All right, next division. NFC North. Lions, Vikings, Packers, Bears.
Lions.
Who do you think is the least favorited?
I told you this, the Packers.
The Bears are the least
Well,
favorited.
you just said it in order, but how big is the difference?
Packers are plus 350. Bears are plus 420.
All right. You wanted to bring this up before. Does Justin Fields help the Bears to get above 500 even this year?
No, absolutely not. Dude, there was so much hype when the new GM of the Bears traded the first overall pick for DJ Moore. Like I can't you can get whatever receivers that you want if your quarterback, first of all, is not accurate with the football, and not only that, but on passing plays defers to have himself run the ball. Your receivers are not as valuable as they may seem.
One of the most electric runners in the game, no doubt, but I will give them a little bit of a break because Dude, do you remember the Bears receiving core last year?
Equanimous St. Brown,
They traded
Chase Claypool,
not great.
Darnell Mooney.
Not great.
Yeah.
Not very good at all. Not great options to pass to. Now, I don't know if this is a hot take, but I feel like DJ Moore, he's super underrated. He's been putting up numbers for a bad team with a bad quarterback for a couple years now. I think it wouldn't be. I could see him getting over 1,000 yards and like 7-8 touchdowns this year.
No shot. I don't even think Justin Fields throws more than 15 touchdowns this year. No shot, dude. No shot.
I think he can. I think there will be an improvement in the passing game by a large margin. But get back to 500, compete for the division? Absolutely not. The rest of their team is complete trash.
Justin Fields last year had 2,200 yards, 17 passing touchdowns, and 11 picks. I can't believe he had that much. I cannot believe
How
it.
many passing touchdowns?
17. Okay. All right. Next division. I'm taking the Lions. A lot of people, for some reason, are not as high on the Lions. It's like, did you watch them last year? That team, not only they're galvanized. That's the thing. Dan Campbell brought that team together. Jared Goff had his best, well, not actually his best, but his best season since that Rams year where they had that 52-49 game, and they went to the Super Bowl. All right, next division: Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Bucks. I got the Falcons.
I have to believe in the Saints.
For what reason? Dennis Allen?
No, definitely not Dennis
See, you're
Allen.
laughing. Their
No.
head coach, you're laughing at.
I think they had so little to work with last year. Derek Carr can at the very least be a game manager. And if Kamara can get back to playing football and not dealing with off the field charges, and Mike Thomas can get healthy and this defense can come back to what it's been the past couple of years, they can beat out the Falcons. The Falcons were a scrappy team last year, no doubt at all. But this is a team where you just need to shut down the run.
Dude, I hated the Bijan Robinson pick when they made it, but
Tyler Algiers was fantastic last year. Yes, he was getting 15 to 20 rushing attempts every game, but he was really good.
I think as much as they loved Cordarrelle as a running back last year, they're now able to actually play him at receiver.
And you can kind of run Algiers as the power back now instead of Cordarrelle.
Yeah. But I like the Falcons a lot. I think they're going against the grain with what they try to do on the offense side of the ball. It seems like Desmond Ridder is picking up the offense and is transitioning to the NFL much better. Also, they played Mariota too long last year. They could have won the division. They only lost the division by one game. And they kind of played Mariota for too long. So Desmond Ridder only played 4 games last year, I believe. So he should be able to be better. The Panthers, I'm not going to give them a chance. I think
They
it's
could be
the Saints.
fun.
And the Bucks, are definitely the worst team.
The Panthers. Remember the Rams.
Todd Bowles still there.
Remember the Rams. The Panthers could be fun. Now you hate that I say that because I jokingly said, "What? Adam Thielen, Miles Sanders, they're going to be fine." Don't they have another one of those players-esque tight end too?
Tommy fucking Tremble? Are you serious?
Yeah. All right, never mind.
Yeah.
They got Terrace Marshall, who was PFF graded the best on deep routes.
Congratulations.
Yeah, they'll be fun. Bryce Young will surprise. He'll have some good games. He'll have some bad games. Maybe he'll get hurt. We don't know what's going to happen.
Small person.
He's very, very small. He's a much more mobile Drew Brees. So we'll see what he can do in the NFL. It'll be a fun watch this year, but again,
comparing Bryce Young to Drew Brees is lunacy. absolutely psychotic
Dude, Drew Brees was a
because
game
of the
manager.
height.
Mhm.
All right, last one. 49ers, Seahawks, Rams, Cards.
Seahawks.
Yeah, I like the Seahawks too. I don't know why. The 49ers had the best defense in the league last year, and that's comparing them to the Eagles, who had the most sacks ever. I don't know, dude. I feel like Sam Darnold is not the answer, and that's the answer that they're going with. They're all calling him
No way.
a franchise quarterback.
No way.
I think it's absolutely fucking insane. And I think that people have become so accustomed to Kyle Shanahan winning with average quarterbacks that it's just going to work with Sam Darnold. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. They don't have Jimmy G as a safety net anymore. It's either Sam
I
Darnold
forgot
or
you
Brock
love
Purdy.
Jimmy G.
Shut up.
Um,
Shut up.
I forgot that Joe thinks Jimmy G is a good quarterback.
He's good.
No, he's not.
I mean, with the Raiders and Josh McDaniels, I don't know what they're gonna. Actually, I mean, they were both on the Patriots together, so maybe that could work out. Just kidding. The Raiders are gonna be bottom 5 in the league.
um, we were just
I like
talking
the
about
Seahawks.
Yeah, the thing about the Seahawks is like I want to change my pick back to the Niners, and then you said that about Sam Darnold, and it's like all right, back on the Seahawks. I think the Niners inevitably have to go back to Brock Purdy or they're screwed. I think Brock Purdy is a very, very, very capable quarterback option, especially for that team. And he was undefeated in the regular season. It's not like they played all easy games. He came in, he did his job, he was not turnover prone, and he helped the team win.
There's definitely a mini doc series on Brock Purdy. I'm definitely gonna watch it after this.
Um, they need to go back to Brock Purdy. Maybe they're just saying that to pump Sam Darnold's tires while Brock is rehabbing, but they need Brock back. We saw Sam Darnold with a couple new teams and a couple new systems, and it's not like the 49ers offensive line is the best in the league. Like they have Trent Williams, but like they just lost Mike McGlinchey. We'll see what they're going to be next year in the O line, but that team's strength is always going to be like screens and running the ball.
Yeah, and they have the best players in the league to do that. I
Exactly.
think Ayuk
But
was
they
the
need Brock
best
Purdy.
rated slant guy in the league.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And then Debo was the best screen guy in the league. And then, dude, you know what I noticed about McCaffrey? I was watching this Instagram clip of his college highlights. He is so. I think what makes him so good is like I feel like Bradshaw for the Giants. Like if he had to juke somebody, or Derrick Henry's a good example. If they have to juke
everything into it.
and then they can't like start back up quickly, dude, McCaffrey when he makes cuts, he's still at full speed, and guys are flying out of the way, totally juked out. He's
He's a
underrated
machine.
somehow.
When he runs, he's a machine. He's a robot. Most efficient path to the end zone.
And he's the best receiving back in the league. I hate when people try to say otherwise, dude. He can be a receiver in the NFL.
It matters how he's deployed because he's been percentage of plays, like snaps wise, definitely way higher on the 49ers as a receiver than with the Panthers. I mean, the Panthers needed him in the backfield, but he can play receiver 100%. I'm surprised Tyreek didn't get like all those like short route ones, except for screens. But
I think they throw down the field so much that's kind of where you.
But I thought he would definitely get like slants and ins.
Yeah, I guess. All right. This has been the Sick Boys Podcast. Follow us on Instagram. Oh, we have to do a bet stamp. Almost forgot. Let's look at tonight's late night slate. So Dodgers, Astros. I'm gonna do that one. Hold on 1 second. I'm almost there.
So easy to pull up the Bet Stamp app. You pull it right out, get the percentage of picks. Tonight we have the Angels and the Rockies. 58% of the money is on the Angels. The best line you can get on the money line for the Angels is with Profit Exchange at -144. Profit Exchange all the way if you want the Angels to cover or the over.
Dude, here's a good one. with BetStamp, I can see that in the Angels-Rockies game, the over-under is around 12. But because of the BetStamp app, if I'm taking the over or the under, I can get plus money on both sides of that. Plus 100 with Caesars for under 12 and plus 106 with Profit Exchange for over 12.5. I wouldn't know that if I didn't have the BetStamp app.
You're goddamn right about that,
Yeah.
Joe.
All right, well, code SYNC, boys, to sign up with the BetStamp app. You can sign up and put it in, or, after the fact, if you forgot to put it in, you can go put it in on the website. But this has been the Sick Boys Podcast. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at CINQ Boys. For another episode.
123.